皆さんこんにちは。今日は北京の、清華大学のキャンパスに来ています。今日は UIA のリージョンIV の副会長、ザンリーさんをこちらでインタビューするという、プログラムを、ご紹介いたします。清華大学、こちら北京にありますけれども、私も、こちらで、過去13年、客員教授を務めておりました。そんなご縁もあって、ジャン・リーさんは今建築学院の、副会長です。こちらが学部長室です。はい、皆さん、今この清華大学建築学院の学部長室に、来ております。私の横にいらっしゃるのが清華大学建築学院学部長の、張利さん、プロフェッサー・ジャン・リーです。ここからは英語でお話しさせていただきます。UIA、第4リージョンの副会長、ジャン・リーさんのインタビューです。Hello, Zhang Li. Professor Zhang Li.
Hello, George.
Vice President Zhang Li.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you for taking time to talk to our audience in JIA. And it's a very quick kind of a planning over the weekend, and thank you for spending time here during lunch hour to talk to me. Well, I have several questions, and maybe you can just answer. I'll give you the time, and you can just speak freely.
Sure.
And of course, I can edit whatever later on.
Sure.
The first question is, what has been your experience as a council member in a previous triennium? And as compared to, let's say, the current as the vice president. Well, of course, you're just starting your vice presidency, but you can talk about maybe your experience as a council member.
Well, I think you know, and thank you very much for this improvised interview. It's really great, George. Yes, for the last term as the council member, and that was my first time as the real council member, not as an alternate. And you know, it happened during the pandemic. It was pretty hard. And I think what impressed me most was the capability of UIA trying to maintain the connection among world architects, trying to keep the society, keep this circle of architects, this community of architects together. And probably you know better than me, there were conflicts during those years, and conflicts starting and huge debates, very contradictory views from different people, from different countries, from different member sections. But I think UIA has done a very nice thing. I believe that's because of the nature of architect. Our profession is to get people connected, and UIA has done very well, and that solidified my faith, if you like, in UIA as an institution that may get world architects together. And this is the time that we need to get architects think and act together.
Very good. Now, you mentioned about the last triennium, which is during the COVID years, and you said there were many debates with the current present triennium, with the new president, Regina Gantier, and you're the Region 4 vice president. What is the situation? What is the new direction that the UIA is aiming and is in a process of going through? And your, I guess, task, given task, what will that be, and what is that from President Regina Gantier?
Well, this is a huge question. I don't think I'm truly capable of answering it properly. Regina or someone else would be better than me. But let me tell you my observations and tell your colleagues in JIA my observations. I think generally Regina is someone who has been working in the UIA for the most span of her career, of her professional career. She has been working for UIA for over 40 years. And she knew this organisation, the weakness and the strength. And most importantly, she is a believer of this organization, and she's also a believer of change. Therefore, on the major topic, I remember the first question she put to me after our election, still in Copenhagen, was, Li, what do you think is the current crisis of the profession of architecture? So she's continually contemplating, thinking and reflecting on the possibilities of the new definition of what is architect and what is the profession of architecture in the contemporary world. We are facing a lot of challenges. Probably 20 years back, things were still quite smooth, if you like. This kind of individual architect as an individual artist, changing the world single-handedly. But nowadays, as together, we must face all these kind of challenges to the entire human community, and also the challenge of technology from other professions like AI, trying to take over what traditionally architects do. I think those are the questions. So trying to find a new definition of what is architecture, and trying to find a new common language of the world of architecture.
Well, you mentioned AI, and when I became a council member, and of course I am here as a visiting faculty member, and of course we've talked a bit about your agenda, let's say, and I think AI was in it, and so I would like to ask you for the third question will be, what is your agenda as the Vice President of Region 4 with respect to Region 4 and to the UIA?
Well, I think Region 4 is blessed in terms of architecture. We have a wide range of cultural identity. We have a pretty huge geographic span. If you think about all the 5 regions, we are the region with the most time difference. And that speaks something. And in the Asian Pacific region in general, and also in the Middle East is also part of Region 4, and in India. The traditional value of family, of people living together, sometimes even with a little bit of sacrifice of individualism to the general good of the collective. That has been a very special Asian trait. So adding that to what we are facing in the contemporary world, which I believe we may, if you like, we can reduce that to 2 key words. One is carbon, and the other is computer science, data, and AI. And all of these things might not be addressed by any person alone, or by any architect alone. We have to somehow collaborate together to find a solution that is for the good of our profession, as well as for the general good of the human world, for our cities. So I guess in that sense, our region is the richest possible source of solution finding, and we need to listen, we need to watch, we need to learn from what the Asian countries and Pacific countries are doing, and how people are shaping their own cities in this region, and try to bring our observations, our experiences and possibly lessons to the rest of the world.
I think it's interesting that, well, I guess 24 years ago,